Okay, today you guys are going to take some Cornell notes over adverbs and conjunctive adverbs. So before you go any further, make sure that you have your Cornell notes made and ready. You're going to need to enter adverbs and conjunctive adverbs into your table of contents. Remember that you can pause the recording anytime that you want so that you can catch up on the notes. So let's remind ourselves, what are adverbs again? Adverbs are something that you should already come to 7th grade knowing, but just in case you don't, adverbs are modifiers. A modifier is just a fancy word for a describer. They describe or modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Mostly they describe verbs, okay? They describe verbs most of the time. They can also describe adjectives, and then sometimes they can describe adverbs. Remember, adjectives modify nouns, adverbs modify verbs. Adverbs tell how or to what extent something happens. For example, the boy ran quickly. Well, how did he run quickly? Okay, it describes how he ran. The boy was really sad. The adverb is really because it describes how sad he was or to what extent he was sad. So in this case, ran quickly is describing ran. Really is describing the adjective sad. So very quickly, spot the adverb. The adverb is swiftly, happily, loudly, supremely, undoubtedly, very. Now, if you look at the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you look at those 5, you'll notice something on each and every one of them. There's an ly at the end of most adverbs. It's a really easy clue. When you see a word that ends in ly, 95% of the time, it's going to be an adverb. So keep that in mind. You might want to write that down in your notes, that most adverbs end in ly. Now, those are just regular adverbs. We can also use what's called a conjunctive adverb. And what do you think conjunctive means? Well, it kind of looks like the word conjunction, like a coordinating conjunction, a fanboy, or a subordinating conjunction, like an awubis word. And I know that conjunctions join things together. So a conjunctive adverb probably does what? Joins sentences together. In fact, a conjunctive adverb joins sentences together. That's what it does. So this is like another way that you can join sentences. In pattern 2 of our sentence patterns, we know that you can join 2 sentences with a semicolon, and you can do that. You can also join 2 sentences with a semicolon and a conjunctive adverb. It's a little bit fancier. That's why we waited to show you, because, we wanted to hold on to the fancy for as long as we could. So your teacher has a list of conjunctive adverbs for you. Make sure that you paste those in your notes, because they're going to be good, because then you can look through those and recognize them as you're working. So what should a sentence with a conjunctive adverb look like? It looks like the rest of our patterns, where we have a sentence, a semicolon, we have a conjunctive adverb, and by the way, that could be one word or it could be a little phrase, a comma, and another sentence. So let's practice. Joe wanted new shoes, semicolon, specifically, comma, so specifically is our conjunctive adverb. He wished for, and then you can fill in the blank. Joe wanted new shoes, semicolon, specifically, comma, he wished for Jordans, or he wished for Chuck Taylors. Taylor Swift fell off the stage, semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma, she blank. Now instead of just one word, we have to finish the sentence. She is our subject, so I need a verb. So Taylor Swift fell off the stage, nevertheless she kept on singing. I was late for my curfew, semicolon. Consequently, that's our conjunctive adverb, comma, my mom is the subject. I need to finish the sentence with the verb. So I was late for my curfew, consequently my mom grounded me. Mr. Drury burped in the middle of his speech, semicolon. Thereafter, comma, he was known as the gassiest teacher on campus. If we make it a little tougher, I practiced my jump shot for hours every night, semicolon, blank, comma. I started scoring 20 points per game. So I have a sentence here, and I have a sentence here, but I need to connect them. A conjunctive adverb is kind of like a transition word. The sentences don't necessarily go together totally, so we need a transition, like a cause and effect, or a time sequence, or a compare contrast, or adding additional information. So I practiced my jump shot for hours. Now I'm scoring 20 points a game. That feels like a cause and effect to me. So you could use something like consequently, or subsequently, or therefore. Joe won 3 awards at the Christmas banquet, semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma, he won 2 more awards at the end of the year concert. So if he won 3 awards at the Christmas concert, and then he won 2 more at the end of the year concert, that kind of feels like we're giving additional information, or we're giving an example. So you might say, like, in addition, or furthermore, or moreover. When you look at your list of adverbs, that's you can choose the one that kind of means adding extra information. I studied for my test for several nights, semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma, I made the best grade I've ever had. Feels like a cause and effect. So you decide which one that you want to use. And then if we made it even just a little tougher, now I'm going to ask you to practice finishing a sentence. My mom told me to come home early, semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma, now I have to have a whole other sentence. So I might say, my mom told me to come home early, semicolon, instead, comma, I stayed out all night. I'd get in big trouble, but I mean, we're just writing sentences here. The dog viciously barked, semicolon, therefore, comma, I ran away from him. You get the idea? So just to review, very quickly, this is what a sentence with a conjunctive adverb is going to look like. Sentence, semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma, sentence. A couple of kids have asked me, can you have a sentence with a semicolon? Can you have 2 sentences with a semicolon but without a conjunctive adverb? Yes, you certainly can, as long as you're joining 2 sentences. In fact, if you're ever confused, if you see a semicolon, and you're trying to decide, does that semicolon need to be there? Check for a sentence. Check for a sentence. Even if it's got this conjunctive adverb in it, it still works because it's a sentence. This pattern is sort of like a combination of pattern 2, because we've got this semicolon, and then pattern 4, because we've got this extra information, comma, sentence. Okay? If you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher, and I hope you have a wonderful day.